Why are you here on Big Brother?
Ooh, why did I want to come on Big Brother? I wanted to come on Big Brother because I knew that pretty much since I saw the show that was something I had to be a part of. Like it was in my core. I've had this, and I've said this before, but I've had like this burning, this slow burn. And it finally came to pass where my kids were all grown and there was nothing holding me back anymore to apply. And so what did I do? I applied when nobody knew I was applying because I wanted it so bad. Being on this show means a great deal to me. It literally is a dream. And how amazing. I want to go back and tell little Angela, 6 year old Angela, who was struggling with life and all that was going to be before her, that with hard work, perseverance, and, lighten up a little bit, life is going to be okay. You're going to make it. You're going to be fine. And you're going to get a dream come true and be on Big Brother. Like, I want to tell her that so she can just root herself on even more. This is seriously a dream come true for me. It is at the top of my goal board. It's Big Brother, and I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to be here right now. I'm so lucky to be a part of this. I know that this is a huge opportunity, an amazing experience, and others may think I'm kooky and crazy to want to do this, but those who know me best know it's just what suits me. And my life's been made now that I get to do this. So it's very exciting.
Being a competitor on Big Brother has been a dream of mine for years now. Every time I watch this show, I look at it and go, I could do that. And I'm really tired of looking at people that can't, especially the moms. I'm like, put a mom in the house that can actually win. And so instead of being frustrated behind the screen, I said, why the hell not play it myself? So here I am, ready to play and ready to win.
Just when I learned the rules of the game and how it's just a social experiment, and I've lived this throughout my whole life. I know how to talk to people, I know how to connect with people, I know how to make friends. So like that's the biggest thing about Big Brother that attracted to me, was that it's all about making friends, and then actually the challenge aspect was something that I just love in general. I love to compete in everything. Checkers, Connect Four, whatever we doing, I like to win. So adding that in with just making friends with people and then winning money, come on now, that's easy. That's why I wanted to be on Big Brother.
I want to compete on Big Brother for my siblings. Everyone tells you that you can do what you want, but when you see your big brother, your big brother competing on Big Brother, it kind of adds like you could really do whatever you want. So I want to instill that into my siblings as much as I can. At the end of the day, what's most important to me isn't money or lying to people in the house, but it's my family. So if I have to do that, then that's what you have to do.
I want to compete on Big Brother because I have been a super fan for the past 10 years. Me and my family, my siblings would sit around the table, around on the couch during the summer and watch the game. And so I want to be one of those people playing the game, not only just playing the game, winning the game. I'm a super fan, so I'm ready for the summer.
I want to compete on Big Brother because I have consumed a disgusting amount of reality TV over 30 years of life. I love this genre. I love Big Brother so much. I'm also just a competitor in my daily life, playing poker and things like that. And this is like the most high stakes poker tournament you can be in. The pressure's on. Like, there's a lot of money on the line. And I love that feeling.
Competing on Big Brother started off with Derek. I watched Derek, I think it was season 16, a police officer from the New England area. He went in there, he was able to hide his identity and become a big winner. And at the end of the day, my wife was super involved in Big Brother with all her friends. And that's kind of how I got into Big Brother, is I wanted to have conversations with her. And I did win her over eventually. Now I'm married. I got 2 kids. But what better way to impress my wife, who is probably the biggest Big Brother fan of all times, is to come home with the $750,000.
I'm a big fan of this show. I mean, like, yeah, this opportunity means so much to me. My journey with Big Brother started years and years and years and years ago when I was a kid. And I've always wanted to play this game. I mean, I've applied to this show multiple times So I'm so thankful that this time around things kind of just like worked out. And I'm so excited to be here.
So I wanted to be on Big Brother because my mom and my sister are super fans for sure. My mom and sister have seen almost every single episode, and I never really got an opportunity to watch it growing up, but I remember my mom and sister both telling me a few years ago that I would be so great and I would win Big Brother, and I never really knew what that meant, but after seeing about 5 seasons, I kind of understand why they would say that, because I think that it's all a game of how well you can associate with people, how well you can read people, and I think that those two are some of my biggest skill sets. I think I've always been very good with people. I've always been able to adapt and get along with all different types of people from all different backgrounds. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that propels me and helps me out in the Big Brother house.
Why not compete on Big Brother? I just want to prove to myself that I can do whatever I set my mind to. And why not Big Brother? I have done a lot in my life and I love experiences. I love to try something new. So why not this, right?
I am not a big super fan of Big Brother. I just recently got into it. However, I do believe that this game is kind of perfect for me. Like I said, I think that I have all the attributes to play a great game, physical, mental, and social. So I'm just excited to get in there and give it my best shot.
Yeah, it's such an extensive answer. Why do I want to compete in Big Brother? Because I think in the real world, like, there's so many relationships that you have. I know that there's been relationships I've had that people don't wind up being who you think that they are, or they say one thing and they don't actually end up following through on what they say or who they say that they are. I think, like, in a weird way, I want to play this game because we all know what we're coming in to do, right? And it's like, some of the relationships that I'm going to build, like, are they going to be real and genuine? Yeah, but at the same time, like, we signed up for a game where people may lie. And at least we can expect that being in the house. I think in a weird way, it is going to be healing from a lot of the experiences that we can have in the real world. I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel like that's been a weird thing that's kind of surfaced as of late, and in the reality that I'm actually going to play this game. But that's definitely one of the reasons why I want to play.
I wanted to be on Big Brother because, for starters, I'm a fan. I started on Big Brother 11. I've seen every season since, and I got tired of watching from the sidelines. I wanted to take part, not just take part, but take over. It's one of those things where it's a bucket list item for me. I've always wanted to be on the show. These competitions look super fun. I'm an incredible athlete, so I want to put myself to the test. And it's just one of those things I've always dreamt of.
I'm not exactly a super fan, but what I've watched, I belong on this show. I really feel like everything in my life that I've gone through, which I call character development, which has been trials and tribulations, has prepared me to be able to be amazing on this show. Like bartending, doing every odd job possible, and just even having to dim myself a little or raise above it. I really feel like Big Brother is the show that needs me and I need it.
I want to compete on Big Brother because I am used to putting myself in scenarios where I am constantly taking risks and going after things that I never thought possible. I grew up in a low-income household on the south side of Chicago, raised by 2 lesbian mothers in a low-income household. And so I am not adverse to putting myself in new and different situations because, I like that chase. I like being able to push myself and see how far I can really go.
Well, I was always raised, the best gift is the gift of experience, and I really hold true to that my whole life. I didn't go to school near my family like my brothers did. I went to New York, so 4 hours, 5 hours away. I've lived over here in LA for summers just to get that experience, and I think that this is not only because it's just you're on a TV show, but that's I don't give a shit about that. It's really the experience of playing this human chess and this
this super competitive game in so many different ways that it's like, this is, who wouldn't want to do this?
What's your strategy going into the game?
Well, strategically, I think that there are 4 types of Big Brother players. You have snakes, rats, frogs, and doves. I myself am going to be a rat, only lie, cheat, and steal when my back is against the wall, when I'm out of options. But I'm definitely not going to shy away from being a more nefarious player. Strategically, I am going to really try to align myself with those more emotional players so that we have a foundation of something deeper than strategy, logic, and reason, so that as we get deeper in the game, it's harder and harder for them to, stab me in the back.
So my strategy playing this game is to lean on my strengths, but also be aware of my weaknesses. I think in the strengths department, in the real world, like I get along super well with older people. I'm definitely like the take back home to mom type of guy. I grew up with a way elderly, older father. So whoever's in the house that is going to be upper in age, I think that there's somebody that I can get along with really quickly and really well. Weaknesses side, I think that what I have going against me is a lot of the first impressions, a lot of how I come off maybe to somebody when I first meet them. And a lot of people tend to think, man, this guy is a douche, this guy is a gym bro, this guy is super into himself, which is just so not true about me. So I know that being aware of that, I'm going to have to work against that really quickly, but also leaning into my strengths, being getting along with older people, having like a motherly figure is what I really hope to find in this game, because I'm going to miss my mom so much back home. But I think using both of those things is going to be my overall strategy in the game.
My general strategy going into the Big Brother game is going to be to kind of play coy at first. I'm not going to tell people that I'm a huge fan of the show, which I totally am, so that they don't see me as a threat. I'm going to try to just be low key, but then when I see my moment, go all in and make the big move when I see that it's open.
My strategy in the Big Brother house will be determined whenever I'm in there, because I think I have to meet everyone first. But I really think that my strategy in the Big Brother house will be to really play up on my social game and get to know everyone, kind of wiggle my way into their hearts, and see how far it takes me.
My strategy is to bring the big sis energy. I know it's called Big Brother, but we need a big sis up in here. So I plan to have a really strong social game. I am mildly competitive, but I'm not trying to put a target on my back. So it'll come into play when it's the right time. I'm going to trust the timing of my life.
So my strategy going into the Big Brother house will be really just being myself, just unapologetic Angela, and all that encompasses. I mean, that is somebody who does wear her heart on her sleeve. I do have a big mouth. I'm not afraid to share with people what my opinions and thoughts are, whether you want it or not. And I think I'm going to be a person that people can trust when they shouldn't, because when it comes to the game of Big Brother, morals and decency are out the window. I'm here to win the money.
I'm going to be the lighthearted jokester, and I'm a chef, so I'm gonna be the person that keeps everybody happy, and when if people are butting heads or whatever, I'm gonna be the one cracking jokes and trying to simmer down the water. And also, I'm a chef, so I cook. You can give me the kitchen sink and I'll make it delicious. So who's gonna want to kick out someone who's cooking great food? And also, as all of us Italians know, the best conversation happens over food. And so I'll be able to cook for everybody. I can cook one-on-one meals for people that might loosen them up to tell me things they wouldn't want to tell other people. So the fun, lighthearted jokester who likes to cook. I will definitely be someone who's planting seeds here and planting seeds there, but I'm not going to try to do it in a loud way like sometimes people do. If I'm pushed all the way to my back against the wall, then yeah, I'll scream and yell it and make that a point, like kind of like what Brett did in some seasons. But I kind of want to be just more the fly on the wall because I have a crazy competitive nature. I know I need to tone that down being in here because I'll put a target on my back right away. And so I think just being my friendly, funny, goofy self who loves to cook, and I just love people. I think I can get close to a lot of people. I can connect with a lot of people on different levels because, again, I look one way, but I was raised and been through a lot of different walks of life, from being the bully to getting bullied to having a gay dad and people just bashing you left and right for that, to being the jock in high school and going to college for a sport, to being a theater geek as well in high school. I love people. I can get along with anybody, I think people feel that that's a very genuine thing about me. I care a lot about people, and that'll have people open up to me a lot. And the hardest part will be stabbing someone in the back, but that's what this is about. I don't do it out there in the real world, but in here, I'm gonna have all the blades sharpened or dulled, however you want it, I'll give it to you.
My strategy going into the Big Brother house is definitely to kind of start out a little bit more shy. I can kind of come on a little overwhelming sometimes. I could talk to a wall. So I don't want to come on too strong, just kind of be, the friend to everybody, shoulder to cry on, and then hopefully a little bit halfway through, make some big moves.
My strategy in this game is going to be very complex because I'm going to take it week by week. I'm going to try and come in middle of the pack at the beginning, try and feel out everybody. I think I'm a person who can read people very well. I know coming into the game the first week or two, people aren't their true selves. They're not comfortable with everybody, but as people get more comfortable, their real feelings are going to come out, and that's when I will really start amping up my game and trying to pit people against each other, trying to figure out where I'm going to fit in the house. Clearly, I want to make a strong alliance at some point. Older people tend not to get into those alliances right away, but I think that I can convince some people to bring me along. I'm a pretty persuasive person, and that's kind of how I'm going to go with it, week by week.
So the kind of game that I'm going to play is, I'm going to, put on this persona, this very positive, bright spirit. That's who I am naturally. But also the kind of double-edged nature of me is that I am very competitive. I can be combative. And I'm going to utilize those strengths to get me as far in the game as possible.
The kind of game I'm going to play in the Big Brother house is a really smart and strategic game. I'm going to try to come in, build as many relationships as possible, try to not cause any fights, any riots, lay low, and then when I need a win, oh baby, I'm going to win.
My strategy going into the Big Brother house. Well, first of all, I'm coming from Hawaii and I'm native Hawaiian, so innately I think the aloha spirit is just such an important thing for me to lead with. So I will be coming into the house with lots of aloha for people. I think it's a very useful tool because it'll help me to disarm the other house guests so I can wiggle my way into their hearts, make house, and remain there for the rest of the time so that I'm the last one in the house and I'm winning the $750,000. But above all else, my strategy is something really simple. It's just to adapt to the game, right? Because so many different things could happen, and I feel like adapting is key. And I have adapting down in spades. I mean, first of all, I'm coming from an island, right? And I feel like we have a very unique set of elements that we sometimes will face, different political challenges that we have to kind of navigate through. Even when like the barges are slow or what have you, like ships are slow coming to bring, the imported goods in, we're constantly adapting and surviving. So that's something that's definitely in my bones. I'm also a queer person who grew up, in this society and also in a very religious household. Love to my family. I just felt misunderstood a lot, and having to navigate and adapt in that kind of an upbringing is definitely something that also is in my bones that I'm bringing into the house so that I'm sitting there, the last one in the house, winning the $750,000.
Ooh, I'm going to play a dynamic game. So Boss Babe is here, and I mean business. So I'm going to treat this competition like it's work and like it's a business. And what that entails is that I will be a dynamic player. I will build and cultivate relationships of trust and connection, and I will see, hear, and know everything as I do in my business and apply that to the intricate framework of Big Brother.
My strategy for Big Brother, it's kind of hard because it's always changing. The dynamic in the house is always flip-flopping. People are going in, going out. Alliances change. People get backdoored. Everyone flips on each other. So my strategy going in is to kind of just be the most observant person possible, and gauge every encounter that I have and move with that one step at a time. A lot of people have this whole big plan, like I'm gonna go get one person and it's gonna be great, and then it all falls apart. And your strategy or your plan comes crashing down because you formulated it. So I think the best strategy and the best plan for me is to take it step by step in the house and evolve my plan each week.
My strategy is going to be to get into a big alliance, but with the mature people, with the older people, a lot of moms and stuff, because they're really good puppet masters. So that's one of my biggest strategies. And then maybe a showmance, maybe a bromance, maybe something here or there. But that'll be my biggest strategy, to get into an alliance with a lot of the older people in the house.
What mark do you plan on leaving in the house?
I'm going to leave my mark in this house by being the girl that utilizes all of her wits without anybody really knowing. I want to keep things as undercover as possible. I want y'all to know that I'm playing this big game, but in the house, they're not going to know everything that I'm capable of, and I'm going to keep it that way.
I think that walking into the Big Brother house as the first native Hawaiian already leaves my mark on this game. And then also finding my way to winning this game definitely makes my mark on the game. So, like that's simple.
I think I'm going to make my mark in this house by being me. I really mean it when I say there is only one Rubina. In this whole entire existence of the world, there's only one, and you will know her when you see her, and it's me. I think there's no way I can't make a mark. It's inevitable because America has not seen someone like me before, and I hope they're ready. Because I'm here. And I'm here to stay.
I'm going to be the first 50-year-old woman to win Big Brother. And that's the goal. Like, I'm coming here to win. I'm not coming here to lose. And how amazing to be the first 50-year-old woman that come from Long Beach, California, a nobody, really, and win this damn thing. Like, that's going to be my story here. And that is the mark that I plan to leave.
Oh man, that's a really good question. How I will make my mark on the house? Well, I think just being me. I have a very unique, fun, quirky personality. A lot of people say I'm like Jim Carrey.
I think I'll make my mark in the Big Brother house by making a big splash, man. Making a splash with my smile, making a splash with my charisma, but just playing the game smartly, man. Just using strategy, because a lot of people will think just because I'm a jock that I'm dumb or something like that, but just, weaseling my way to get a win. That's the biggest mark that I'm going to play. I'm going to shock people with my mind, actually.
I think I'll make my mark in the Big Brother house by just being sweet with a little bit of spice.
I think I'll make my mark in the Big Brother house just by being myself, just being by honest and open. I feel like nowadays people are very, mindful of what they say. And, I'm not a bad person, so I know I'm not going to say anything too crazy that'll get me in trouble. And I'm just going to be authentic and be myself, and also play the game hard and try not to play scared. I feel like a lot of people play scared nowadays, and that's not how I intend on going about this.
I think I'll make my mark in the Big Brother house by going down and being a really smart player, but one who genuinely developed relationships with almost every single person in the house. You'll usually see your alliances, but for me, the mark I believe I'll make is being able to affect every single person in the house through relationships.
Obviously, a lot of competitors have left a lot of big shoes to fill in this house. And how am I going to leave my mark? I think just being that older person that goes in there and kind of can manipulate things. I'm really not going to play an honest game because that's the name of the game in here. And I'm just going to try and win over as many people as I can. And hopefully I come across as somebody who is a good person, who's trying to win some money. And I'm just going to do what I need to do to provide for my family. And I think this is a great way to do it.
So how I think I'm going to make my mark in this house. I think I'm going to make my mark in this house by being truly authentic and really caring about other people. Like, I'm excited to play this game, and I'm going to play it as hard as I can. But at the same time, like, I'm throughout my whole life, I've been somebody who prioritizes people. So much of my career has been oriented around impacting other people. I'm super stoked to get out of Georgia, where I've lived my whole entire life, get out of the South, where there's typically one type of person, one type of rhetoric, one type of belief structure, and meet people who come from different backgrounds and have different stories, and that I think all matter. And so I think that's how I'm hopefully going to leave my mark on the house, is that I hope to be a genuine, kind person who builds real, authentic, and raw relationships.
I hope I make my mark by showing that, you don't have to be super conniving. I think that I hope that I make my mark in the Big Brother house by being a strong, woman that wins and maybe doesn't look as intelligent as I am. So I hope I can make my mark by being underestimated and setting a good example and leaving with many genuine friendships.
How will I make my mark in the Big Brother house? Well, there's a few marks to make. Part of the strategy, though, it goes without saying, I'm a chef, right? So the key to anyone's heart is good food. Hello, enter the chat. Lisa, good food is here, right? So part of my strategy is to cook throughout the time there, to build connections, to make myself not a target, because who wants to kick out the cool chef that makes them really good food, right? So I'm gonna play into that, make my mark there, and build connections with people, because that's who I am as a person, and that's who I am in my job as well. I cultivate connections with people, and I'm very personable. If you can't tell, I have a fantastic personality, and that's really gonna get me through the game. People are going to hopefully like me. I'm going to find ways to connect with new people, stimulate interesting conversations with them, and of course, serve them up maybe some avocado toast. And that's going to make my mark in the game towards the beginning, and then some more opinionated strategy is going to come out. But you got to lay that foundation first. The key to anyone's heart is through their stomach. And if I'm cooking for them, they're going to be in love.
I'm gonna make my mark in the house by just being lovable, everyone's favorite little 21-year-old kid. I think a lot of people are gonna see me and think that I'm instantly like super arrogant, and it kind of helps. It's super crazy, because it kind of helps when people have preconceived notions of you, and then you change them and flip them. They're more attracted to you, they like you more. So I think coming in with the predeserved notions, it's gonna make me more lovable in the inside, and that's how I'm making my mark, is to be the most lovable, likable person in the house.
I plan on making my mark by being the first married mother to win the show. This is the 26th season. It is about time that a married mother showed up, showed out, and walked away as the next winner.
I'm going to make my mark in the Big Brother house by honoring the past, but redefining the game and creating a new future by acting zany, acting out of control, and doing whatever I can to stay out of the limelight while maintaining the central focus of attention.
How would you describe yourself?
If I had to describe myself in a few adjectives, it would be energetic, empowering, and super fun. I'm fun. Fun size and fun.
I think people would describe me as fun, compassionate, emotional, probably. But I won't be an emotional player. Wink, wink.
In a few adjectives, I would describe myself as crazy, fun, loud, a little bit hood, a little bit holy, a little bit righteous, a little bit ratchet. All of that in one. That's me.
A couple words to describe me is gonna be obnoxious, a jokester, very empathetic, and real in the end. You know, I take myself not seriously, but when it comes to being with other people and other people's emotions and things, I receive those very seriously because I know I've seen people be in all different emotional states, as I'm sure everybody has. But I'm very much I'm the youngest of two older brothers, so I've been that fly on the wall, watching everything unfold and seeing how it affects certain people and what it's good to do, what's bad to do. So my older brother would be wild crazy. My middle brother would be like smart by the books. So I kind of figured out, well, you can do a little bit of both and still get away with things like that. So that's it.
I would say I'm bubbly. I would say I am funny. I would say I am adventurous, and I would say I'm also adaptable. Definitely.
I am quirky, enthusiastic, and crafty. I'm the true Oklahomie living the good life in Omaha, Nebraska.
I describe myself as probably the most social, unsocial person that there is. In certain settings, I can be laid back and just kind of watch and observe. And then in other settings, I'm the life of the party. I like to have a good time. I'm a jokester. I like to, say things to make people think, is he serious or not? In doing that, people like to be around me and people like to have fun. And that's how I'm going to be in the Big Brother house.
Oh, I am persistent. I'm ambitious. I'm a little awkward, a little nutty, but I use all of those different quirks to my advantage.
I would describe myself as sassy, classy, and a little badassy. And basically, that just means that I do everything with purpose, on purpose, and for the betterment of others, really. I am a control freak, if I'd call myself out, and a lot of bit type A, but I get stuff done. I would call myself right below a super fan. So there are certain things that I'm like, man, who was that and what did they do? But for the past 10 years, my husband and I have watched the show religiously. I've got my kids involved with it. So they're always telling me what is the best moves to make. And so I plan on making them all really proud.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a walking vibe. As you can tell, I am fun, I'm vibrant, and those are my personality traits. I know how to have a good time. I know how to bring the sparkle and bring the energy to any situation. Aside from the personality, there's depth to me. That is, I'm trustworthy, I'm a hard worker, I'm very diligent, and I'm also really meticulous. So those aspects of myself, not everyone sees outright. You might see some butterfly clips and some glitz and glam, but on the inside, there's so much more to me. Also, additionally, I'm dynamic, adaptable, and really, really smart. I run 2 companies. I've built them from the ground up, and there's many layers to me. I wouldn't say like an onion because onions make you cry, but I would say there's layers to me like you're in the middle of Nova Scotia wearing 7 different layers because you're freezing your butt off. That's how many layers there are to me. So let's uncover them.
Some ways that I would describe myself is a good vibes guy. I want everybody to be happy in the room when I walk in. I want to brighten up the room whenever I walk in. So I would say one of the things I would say is a good vibes guy. Secondly, I would like to say I'm suave. I would like to say I'm cool. I would like to say I play the chill side. I like everybody to be comfortable around me. So those are probably the 2 things. I'm a good vibes guy and then I'm very suave. So those are the 2 things I would describe myself as.
Some words that I would use to describe myself would be outgoing, kind, and real. I'm going to give it to you straight.
I would describe myself as fun loving. I like to do whatever I can to have fun, even if like I do something that other people don't find funny. As long as like I'm making myself laugh, that's totally fine with me. I try not to take life too seriously, and yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Matt Hardiman. I would say that I am typically like the biggest personality in the room. Try to be the funniest person around. Making people laugh is like my favorite thing in the world. I love to have fun. I love to have high energy. I love to pick at other people and hope they pick back so I can pick back as well. Yeah.
I would describe myself as caring and charismatic, which is kind of the best mix. Because if you care about people and you can show them that you care in a way that conveys good energy, then everybody's happy.
I'm a people person. I love people. I'm outgoing. I'm a party girl. I'm a mom first and foremost, but I enjoy now the transition of being friends with my kids, and I love the relationships that I have with them. So I'm a party girl. I'm a fun mom. I'm a cool mom, cool nana, and I am optimistic all the time.
What are you most looking forward to about playing Big Brother?
I think the thing I look forward to most about being in the Big Brother house probably has to be just meeting the people. And granted, I know we're going to probably all backstab each other, but I think making some friendships that I probably wouldn't make without the Big Brother house. I think the way I could manipulate the competition within the house is definitely by coming on and looking like I'm some sweet, innocent person and acting like I have everybody's back. But in reality, I am just plotting to make the next big move.
I'm most looking forward when I get into the Big Brother house is, honestly, just playing the game. There are so many different facets: the social element, the strategic element, the physical element, which we'll see how I do in that department. And I'm just looking forward to pushing myself, to entering this, experiment, kind of putting my sociologist cap on and seeing, what I'm made out of.
What I'm most looking forward to about being in the Big Brother house is honestly just chilling. Just like, obviously playing the game and everything, but like those moments where I'm just alone, chilling in the pool and just being like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm actually on this show. Like, those are the moments I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait for Zingbot. I know he's probably going to roast my entire existence and I'm going to want to cry, but I even look forward to that. I look forward to Otev. There's just so many little things, like having a stupid costume and being pissed off about it. Like, even the stuff that's like not gonna be fun, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, in the Big Brother house, I'm most excited to just meet people that are different than me. Like to make new friends is something that just gets me so pumped up. I'm super, super, super excited just to meet new people that come from all over the country and different backgrounds, different beliefs. Super excited to live with a whole new group of people and become like family, hopefully by the end of the season, end of the summer.
I'm really excited for Big Brother. Like, what an awesome experience. I'm really excited I curate experiences for a living. So I haven't quite curated an experience that involves manipulating and lying and deceit. I am going to try to be the best version of myself and a good human as possible, but I might have to go off the books a little bit. And yeah, I'm just excited for that challenge to be a part of this experience.
What am I most looking forward to here? It's everything, this is like a dream come true, but if I had to narrow it down to one thing, it would be if I win HOH, getting those handwritten notes and letters from friends and family. Getting emotional right now thinking about it, but yeah, it'd be lovely. But I won't be emotional in the house. I got to cut the emotional in the house stuff out. So when I'm in HOH, I'll cry by myself, and it'll be great with all my family's letters.
Oh, I'm most looking forward to meeting who else is going to be in the house. I have no idea. I only know what I know, which is me, and I can't wait to see what other energies are going to be in the house.
Oh, there's so many things that I'm excited about. For sure, first off, it's playing this game. I'm such a fan. I'm sure lots of people say that, but I'm such a fan. So it is so surreal to be here and to be given this opportunity. I'm definitely most excited to win the $750,000. That's like life-changing money for me. That's like I can do so much with that money to better my life and to better the lives of my loved ones. So I'm very excited about that. I'm also really excited about AC because it's so hot and humid outside, and especially back home in Hawaii, like very hot and humid too. So, hello, free AC. I'm here.
I am most excited to form a couple of alliances in the Big Brother house. You know, I want to slap a creative, fun nickname that honors everyone that's in it. And then on top of that, I'm excited to then do the Big Brother thing and stab them all in the back. That's what I'm most excited for.
What I'm most looking forward to when going into the Big Brother house is the social aspect of it. I have never been to college, so I never got to go away. I've never been to camp, so I never got to do that. I rarely went to a slumber party. And being my age and not having those type of experiences, I mean, I feel like I've missed out a little bit, and I really want to experience what it would be like to live in a home we're all thrown into this house, and we all had to try and figure it out and figure ourselves out and try to climb my way or claw my way up to the top to be top dog, to win this thing. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see how far I can stretch lies, or how far I can stretch truths, or, how deceitful I could be, because, secretly in the back of my mind, I've always got these things, my wheels are turning, but I always live more of a moral lifestyle. So this will be fun to like unleash it. Like, I'm excited to see what's to come.
What I'm most looking forward to is seeing who's in this house, getting to form alliances, but above all, I'm ready to compete in some games. I am competitive in nature, so bring on the games. I'm ready now.
The thing that I'm most excited about is just meeting everybody. I'm sure they picked people from different walks of life, and I just love meeting people and hearing their stories and talking to them. So that's the thing that I'm looking forward to. And then also the challenges, man. I'm just excited to get out there and compete. That's the biggest thing for me. So I'm hyped for the challenges and to meet everybody in the house.
I'm most looking forward to meeting new people and building relationships and playing the game. Like, I'm really excited to see how the game really works. I'm really excited to meet new people. I'm excited for all of it, really. Like, I have more. It would be easier for me to list what I'm not excited about, because this whole experience is so exciting. I'm just excited to have an amazing summer and be surrounded by a bunch of cool people.
I am beyond excited to see the pantry. I don't know if that's the millennial mom in me or whatever, but a stocked pantry that is just endless, and when something runs out, it automatically appears. I feel like I will be living in a dream all summer long. I cannot wait, which I don't even know if we get to hear it, but I can't wait for Julie to open the show and say, "But first," and then hit everybody with a big ass spoiler and just hit them with the twist and be ready to start the season. Julie Chen Moonves is just like an idol of mine. She's a queen. I can't wait to talk to her.
What I'm most looking forward to in the Big Brother house is, honestly, it's going to sound kind of corny, but the friendships that I'm going to make, not only in the house, but when I leave, and just connecting with everybody. I'm not to mention winning, of course.
How do you plan on manipulating people?
Now, in the real world, I do not believe in manipulating people. But in the Big Brother house, I'm going to have to utilize just a little bit of that strategy to get far in this game. Taking the information I learned from people, utilizing it to learn about different alliances, learn where I fit in the house to take me as far as I can possibly go.
Is manipulation to be something that's part of my game? I think manipulating is going to be hard for me, but it's almost like a necessary evil to play this game. At the end of the day, like, we all know what we're signing up for when we come into this house. And in my real and personal life, like, my character is my top priority. I care about my integrity. I care about the man that I am and the man that I'm becoming. But within the confines of the understood rules of this game, am I going to have to manipulate? Am I going to have to lie? Probably. And I'm willing to do so to get to the end.
I will manipulate the competition by being myself. I think I'm a natural manipulator. I think the best way to tell a good manipulator is by not knowing that you're being manipulated. So I will manipulate the competition without them even knowing that it's me behind it all.
Yeah, so if I have to play a little manipulative game, you know, sometimes in Big Brother you have to work in the shadows, be a little puppet master, you pulling some strings, but you can't be a puppet master that's seen, because that's when issues arise.
I see myself as manipulating the competition in a subtle way. I'm not going to try to come on too strong at first. I feel like the person who's always directing and they need things to go their way early on, that's not how I'm going to be. I'm going to try to be more subtle about it and kind of slowly incept myself into people's minds. That way, the bigger personalities will kind of wipe themselves out. People will get tired of listening to them, and they'll want to listen to me.
Yeah, whatever I have to do to win 750K, I'll do it. If I have to tell a lie or just maybe a half truth or something like that. You know, if I have to backstab somebody in a final 2 or a final 3, I'm with that. But whatever I have to do to win 750K, I'm willing to do it. And I'm proud to say that. Honestly, I would not want to see myself as a backstabber, but if the time comes to it, I'm not opposed to it. I would not want to be backstabbed because I do place a lot of trust on loyalty. I'm a very loyal guy, but if the time comes where somebody needs to get backdoored or backstabbed, I'm not opposed to it.
I see myself being creative in the house. I mean, there's a good deal of manipulation that has to happen, I think, in the Big Brother house. Especially, like, the longer this show goes on, the more people know, like, about this game. Even though this game is constantly changing, like, there's things that you can kind of take note of and, like, implement them into your strategy walking into the house. But I think at some point, on some level, we're all gonna have to manipulate each other. I think it's just nicer to say that I'm gonna be creative with people and with maybe how I tell truths.
I'm going to manipulate the competition by allowing their perception of me to be real. They're going to see me as naive. They're going to see me as easy to trick, someone who's just here for a good time. And I'm going to let them run with that as long as I feel comfortable. And then when the moment is right and I'm done buttering them up, being a real sweetheart, I'm going to just flip the script on them and do what I want to do.
Listen, do I think I'm going to manipulate the competition? This is Big Brother. There's always a little bit of manipulation that happens. It's the name of the game. So I will, if I have to withhold the truth or spread the truth, I got to do what I got to do to get to the end and win this game.
Manipulating people is kind of what I've done a lot in my career. So that's going to take that part of me into the house no matter what. Especially when I see a goal and I need to get to that. I'm a pretty persistent person, and being able to get people to maybe maneuver how I need to maneuver is something that I'm used to doing. So I think it's inevitable that it's going to happen in the house, and that's how I'm going to have to be, especially if I'm going to win.
Manipulating the competition should be a piece of cake, and I'm counting on my years of wisdom here. I remember being in my 20s and 30s and really just leading by emotion more than by, thinking 10 steps ahead. I'm hoping to rely on my wisdom and my life experience to go in and just not act out of haste or emotion, but rather with thought and what the steps would be with any action that I put forward. And making sure that action doesn't lead to my demise.
Oh, man. Well, how I will manipulate the competition is by being I always say, I take my work very seriously, but I never take myself seriously. So being that open, fun, goofy person, but I'm very empathetic, I think that'll allow people to let their guard down around me, and it's gonna just be building up the trust with people and letting them be able to tell me these things, which will happen over the really good food I cook for people.
I don't not see myself manipulating the competition. People say I'm very powerful, and thank God I use my powers for good, right? So I'm not going to manipulate people. I want to try my best to play a good game by being a good human, but I'm here to play and I'm here to win. So I will have my hand in different things, and if I need to manipulate people a little bit so that I can get ahead, I am not opposed to that, because at the end of the day, this is a game and I'm here to win. These aren't my friends. Even though I might become friends with them, ultimately, you are supposed to kick people out of a house, right? That is the whole point. So you got to do what you got to do and what it takes to get to the end. So there's going to be a little bit of playtime. We'll see how that plays out. Sorry, Mom.
What is on your BB bucket list?
I have a few things on my bucket list. I want to start an alliance, I want to play an OTEV, and I want to get roasted by Zingbot.
My Big Brother bucket list items include forming an alliance, stabbing my friends in the back, stirring up unnecessary drama, and just having fun. And winning, of course. That's probably like number one, but everything else is like a pretty close second place, third place situation.
Okay, I do have things that are on my Big Brother bucket list. One of them being, I would love to eat slop. I've always wanted to know what it tasted like, so give it to me. Don't give it to me too often, but I would love to try it. I would love to get dragged by Zingbot. Like, please zing me, Zingbot. Let's see, what else? I don't know. I would just like just being in the house, living day to day and experiencing this whole thing. Like, that's all of those. That's all the whole list of Big Brother bucket list. So I plan to check them all off this summer for sure. Oh, also most importantly, I plan to check off that I'm winning Big Brother. Hello.
Something on my Big Brother bucket list is definitely getting in some type of slime. I want to get into a challenge and get real dirty, real grimy into some slime. That is 100% on my Big Brother bucket list.
I think the thing that's on my Big Brother bucket list would, 1, meeting Julie Chen when I walk out under confetti because I won. 2, swimming in the pool. 3, staying in the HOH room. 4, never being on slab.
That's my big bucket list right now, is to be the first to walk in there and the last to come out and break that whole stigma.
BB bucket list? Man, I have so many things, I feel like. Zingbot, please. I want to be roasted. I know that's a weird thing to want, but I definitely want to see Zingbot. I definitely want to do BB comics. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I really want to if you're listening out there. And BB, what else? I mean, those are the two big ones. Zingbot. Backstabbing. I would hope that no one takes it personally because this is a game. But I may, depending. Yeah, probably.
My bucket list for Big Brother, the endurance competitions are the ones that I think that I want to excel in. I want to be the last one hanging on that wall or holding on to something or pressing a button for a long period of time. So all the endurance ones, I think, those are the ones, I think it's just a pride thing. Being an older person, I want to be able to outdo the young kids in the house and be able to hold on as long as I can, if it's feasible during that week. I mean, I've always said I'm never going to come in last. And sometimes I might have to come in the middle of the pack, but I'm always going to want to win.
My BB bucket list. Well, obviously winning is number one. I would say the Zingbot is a close two, because I think that's me in real life. Like, I really like roasting people, and being roasted I think is really funny. And I'm really anxious and excited to see what the Zingbot says about me. Also like OTEV and just the competitions. Like I'm really excited for almost everything. And but yeah, I would definitely say that on my BB bucket list, I really hope to get zinged by the Zing bot.
There's a few things on my Big Brother bucket list. Make it past week one. Week one, hardest week because no one knows each other. There's no alliances and no relationships really. Next, make it to jury so I can have a say in who wins if I'm not winning. Zingbot? Zingbot, he's my favorite character. I got to get all the zings. So we had to make it there.
Well, I know what's not on my Big Brother bucket list would be eating slop. I am a little terrified about potentially being a have-not. That is the one thing that scares me. But honestly, it's winning the first HOH. I think that is on my Big Brother bucket list. Other than winning, of course, because that's just going to happen. But I want to win the first HOH.
If I have one thing on my Big Brother bucket list, it's to play the BB Comics game. Please.
Do I have anything on my big brother bucket list? A lot of B's in that. My Big Brother bucket list, I definitely have to take home an HOH. Have to. I feel like I definitely want to take home a power veto competition. If I could get a win in every single comp, I would be pumped. I feel like I definitely at least want to make it past a jury. Obviously, I want to win this game. I mean, that's the highest priority here. So that's definitely number one on the bucket list is bring home 750 back home to mama. And yeah.
Oh, on my Big Brother bucket list is honestly just to play the game hard and to like play a game that I can look back on and be proud of, even if it doesn't work out with me winning necessarily, to have a game where I'm like, you know what, you tried your best, you played super hard, and maybe things just didn't work out. I just want to make big moves and have people appreciate my fervor for the game.
Woo! What is on my BB bucket list? Oh, so much. I cannot wait to stay up late and scheme and talk with people and do all the things you wouldn't do in normal life, especially at my age. Like I'm a late bloomer when it comes to this, and I'm just excited to let the younger people in the house let their guard down with me, and it's okay to treat me just like their peers. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about playing the games. I can't tell you how much I laugh at home, and I'm on the edge of my seat like watching some of these games because I like to modify these games at home for my kids, but now I get to play these games and somebody's setting them up for me, and these are quite elaborate. I really admire the creativity that goes in and all the stuff that goes into these games. Like, I'm excited to get out there, and I will try my 100% damnedest to get every game. Like, I'm gonna do so good. I know it. And even if I don't win the game, knowing that I put 100% into it and tried is fulfilling enough. Like, I am excited to play those games. I'm excited to win HOH. It is a dream and a goal of mine to win it at least a few times. I want that power of everyone coming to me and pleading for their game, and I'm excited about that. I want to have HOH room and be the big dog upstairs. That is something that I will pride myself on if I get that. That will, if you've never heard me scream before, you will hear me scream when I win HOH, because that will be huge for me, winning HOH.
What do you think has made Big Brother last season after season?
Why do I think Big Brother is so popular? Well, I think it's because it pulls from all different things. It's not just mental or physical, and it's mental, physical, and emotional, and everybody's cut from a different cloth when it comes from that. Sure, you could have college athletes in here, but everyone has a different athletic ability and mental ability and emotional ability. And I think that the reason why Big Brother is so successful is you have people from every walk of life come on this show.
For the most part, I think it's just people coming together and watching a show that is completely unscripted, and it just unfolds before your eyes. And some people just make good TV because they're just good people and good players. And I know personally, I love to watch the unexpected and watch people like literally throw a curveball and it work out for them, or it's their demise. I love that part of it, and I think that people like to escape, and I know I love living vicariously through others, but now's my time, and I am excited to now be somebody that somebody like myself sitting at home watching on the couch can say, damn, she's 50 and she's killing it. Like, how exciting to be a motivation to somebody else to try out for the show that's my age and not be a floater. Like, yeah, that's kind of cool. I think the show is very, very cool.
Big Brother is so popular because the game itself is the most difficult one on reality TV. You are forced to flow with power that from one week to another shifts in a way that isn't necessarily predictable. And so people are very drawn to that because you get to see this cast of, diverse, interesting characters get tossed into a pressure cooker, make life-threatening decisions, and it's just really, really engaging TV. I'm not surprised even remotely that Big Brother is so popular.
I think Big Brother has been around for so long because it truly is the most entertaining thing to watch during the summer. Like every single summer, it's not summer. Summer has not started until Big Brother's on TV. And I think so many people have grown up that way and are now, having the show still on and still active and still exciting, still with twists and turns and fun and exciting personalities like the ones we hope to have in the House of Summer. I think it's why it's still kicking, and it's going to be kicking for a long time.
I think Big Brother is still so popular because of the live feeds aspect of it. And there's just like no other experience like it. It's like watching sports, but reality TV because it's live and it's happening then. And you get so invested in these people and rooting for them during the live competitions. There's just like no other reality show like it. And I just think it's addicting.
I think Big Brother is so popular because there's no show really like it. The intensity of being on 24/7 with the live feeds and being put in a situation where you cannot leave. You're not leaving. You're in here. Well, unless you're voted out or evicted. There's nothing like this out there. And how could you not like it? It's kind of addicting. You want to watch it. You want to see what happens.
I think that the show has stayed on the air for so long because of its unpredictability. I think that a lot of people want to tune in because you never know what's coming next. I think that it's not as predictable as some other TV shows might be. And I also think that people probably like that it's not just another stupid dating show. Like, I think a lot of people are sick of seeing all these dating shows that really have no substance to them. And I think also it's becoming more interesting because we live in an age of technology and it's so hard to get people off of their phones. So I think now maybe it's even more interesting than it used to be because now we rely on our phones so much and people are probably so anxious to see what people act like whenever they don't have social media, when they don't have their phone. And I think it stayed on the air for so long because it's just like a classic. It's just a classic. Like, it's one of the first ever reality shows. And, whenever why get rid of the original? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think Big Brother is still so popular because it gives you a different insight into the life. You know what I mean? It's like social and competition and drama all in the same thing. You get to see strangers move into the house, and sometimes they mesh really well. Sometimes there's conflict, and it's cool because it gives you an insight into somebody else's life. With all the cameras, the live feeds, all the microphones around, it just adds its own fan base.
I think there are multiple reasons why Big Brother is so popular. I think that number one, the community that it builds. This is a very intensive game. It lasts all summer long. We get 3, episodes every week. We get live feeds, and so we're able to build community not just amongst the house guests, that get to play, but also us viewers who get to enjoy the game, whether we're watching it with family, watching it with friends. I think that is the key to creating a show that is persistent and has stood the test of times like Big Brother has.
26 is just going to come bigger and better. I think 26, every year is 1 year better. And I think that this one's going to have some twists and turns that nobody expects, I would hope. And I'm just excited to see it all play out. I think everybody's excited, especially with the 2-day premiere.
I think Big Brother has lasted season after season because it's a show for the people by the people, honestly. It lets you inside into everyone's lives, and we're all nosy, honestly. If you think about it, you can call yourself inquisitive or whatever, but truly, you're just nosy. So a show that lets you see people 24 hours a day, raw, real, uncut, unfiltered, there's just nothing like it, and I see the show lasting for the long run. I see myself doing whatever I have to do for as long as I have to do it to win this game. So if that means me telling my kids, cover your eyes, do as I say, not as I do, I'm going to do it.
Well, I think the show continues on because of the fandom. It's probably one of the most passionate fandoms that I'm aware of. And I think that constantly just fuels the need to like bring it back every summer. I mean, there's people like me who are constantly just like applying for the show, wanting to be on it. So I'm sure that same energy exists everywhere. I also think that Big Brother is kind of like a look into society, right? Like there's different people from different from different walks of life, all trying to just like coexist with the goal of, being successful. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. But I think the beautiful thing about it is that it's happening, and clearly keeps happening, again, like I said, because people still want to watch this show, and want to continue to see it go. So that.
This show is popular and it's probably going to continue to stay popular because when it comes down to it, people love watching people. I'm guilty of it myself. I love, sitting in a mall waiting for my wife to come out from shopping and just watching all the people go by and trying to listen to see what they're saying. People like to be in the know. People like to watch After Dark and watch the live feeds and hear what's going on in the house and not necessarily have to be there. People like to know things in life that necessarily don't have anything to do with them. And what better way to know what's going on with a whole bunch of people than to watch the Big Brother live feeds and listen to them every single day?
I think the show was so popular because you have a few people, 16, 17 people, who are very, very different in this house that come together, not only to compete, but we get to know each other and we get to live together. And so I think it's so popular because people all across the globe get to see a little bit of them in one of the house guests. And so I think that's why it's so popular. We are everyday, ordinary people that love the game, love to have fun, and people love to watch that. That's why I think it's so popular.
What former house guest would you most likely model your game after?
I think everybody says this, but I would want to model myself after Dan, specifically in season 10. I thought his strategy of trying to appear weak at first and then coming on strong near the end is something that I could do very effectively.
I don't know that I would model my game after any house guest because I don't know who the other house guests are. If I like to model my game after somebody else, then I would need to know precisely that I was going in with the same exact house guests from previous seasons. But since I'm going in to a whole new world, since I'm going into a whole new world, I'm going to model after my own strategy. I have to come up with my own strategy and kind of get to know everybody, and then I'll be able to decide how I'm going to go forward. But I think in life, I don't really model my life after anyone else's, so I can't imagine modeling my strategy after anyone else's.
In terms of modeling my game after former Big Brother players, I think Jason, Guy, and I definitely align in a lot of ways. But what I want to add, sprinkle in is those showstoppers. Players like Jace Wiry or Paul, Brett, these big personalities, Brittany, and just add a little bit of pizzazz, sauce, and style into what I believe was a winning game from Jason.
The former house guest that I most likely will model my game after, probably Cody, I guess. I just feel like, he gave it 100% all the time. He really knew how to talk to people in a comfortable way. I don't really feel like he was ever like bullying anybody to vote the way that he wanted. He seemed to somehow be able to express what he wanted without like being forceful about it. It was more suggestive, or asking people how they felt. So that'll probably be more how I would model my game after, because I don't want to come off aggressive. I think that is the number one killer to get yourself on the block.
Which former house guest would I model my game after? Well, it's kind of more like Ian, honestly, compared to Dan and Brett, because Ian was that quiet, just having a great time. The kid just seemed like he liked to be there, and but he stirred up some stuff and he planted seeds in places that nobody expected, and he tricked Boogie, who's also one of the most legendary players, and Boogie had no idea. And if you can sit back and just do one little thing, it might not happen right away, but you wait for that plant to grow, and it's going to be fascinating.
When I think about all the seasons of House Guest and anyone that really threatens me, no one really comes to mind. I'm not threatened or intimidated easily. I feel like I'm going to have such a strong game on each side, where there's physical, mental, social, strategy, that I will be the house guest that people start mentioning after this season. The most recent legendary butt would be Taylor Halls. I think she is one that is being the first. That is what I'm after, is being the first married mother to win this show as a first female African American. She sat here with her back against the freaking wall over and over and over again. She held her head high. She didn't let the house break her. And I'm like, girlfriend, I am here going to do the same exact thing, but I'm going to hold it down for the mamas and the mothers and the wives. And I'm going to say, you know what? If I can do it, so can you.
I really think the former house guest that I want to model my game after would definitely be Casey off season 20. She played such a good game. She played an honest game. She helped her alliance, but she also helped with the other side of the house. She was always sweet, always kind, and she pulled through on comps when she needed to.
There is no former house guest that I would model my game after. I am an entrepreneur and I have a very intricate way of doing things. So I am going to blaze my own trail, do things my own way, and show you a new way of playing Big Brother.
Why will you be the house guest to watch this summer?
I definitely will be the house guest to watch this summer because I find myself pretty entertaining, and I feel like I am going to have my hands in all of the cookie jars with all of the players. My goal is to not let anyone say, I've never talked to you, so you're on the block. They're not going to say that about me, because I am going to be the little social butterfly that's in the house, spreading my little mama joy and making everybody feel comfortable, because no one's going to send their mom home, right? And so if they feel like I'm their best friend, their aunt, their mama, give them that vibe, I'm going to stay all the way to the end.
I think I'll be the one to watch this summer because I'm funny, I'm smart, and I'm going to be myself all the way. I feel like people, when they come on this show, they try to hide a little bit of themselves, but I respect the reality genre so much that I'm just going to be honest, authentic. Whether I look bad, whether I look good, I'm going to be honest with the viewers at all times and not sell them short on what's actually happening in the house.
I mean, come on. I am the one to watch this summer. You are going, America, and whoever else is watching, you are going to have the best time with me. My friends always say, I wish I could just watch you all the time. And here's the dreams come true. I am funny, vibrant, silly. I'm very peculiar in a few different things. So here's a great insight to who Lisa is, how she moves through this world. There's always a good time that follows when I'm here. So get ready, America. Let's start this party. Yes.
I'm the one to watch this summer because I'm dedicated to not just playing a fun, active game, but also offering presentation, something to watch from the sidelines and cheer for. I'm here to not take part, but take over. And I'm going to work with anyone and everyone that is foolish enough to trust me.
I'll be the one to watch this summer in Big Brother because I'm there to win this game. So you better be watching. watch my story, that whole arc that happens from fresh house guest to winner of Big Brother 26.
I will be the one to watch this summer because I think a lot of the time I'm underestimated. You know, I'm this girl who sits in the corner crocheting. I usually got a big fat smile on my face. I'm a very positive person, but nobody sees, you know, the grit and the fire that lies underneath. And so I definitely plan on bringing my personality into this game, both my ability to smile, but, you know, do what needs to be done at the end of the day to get as far as I possibly can.
I will be the one to watch this summer if, right, hear me out. I'm not going to lie to you and be like, oh, everybody watch me. I'm the best. I feel like that's too arrogant for me. But I'll be the one to watch if you like seeing people interact with other people. You know, if you want to see all the drama, all the tea from every direction, you know, being the most likable, people are going to tell me everything. So you're like, oh, I wonder what's happening behind the scenes of the house. Come to me, Cedric with the tea.
Oh, man. I will be the one to watch this summer because I am unlike anything you've ever seen or probably heard before. Meaning you can hear me probably from your house, not wherever you are. Yeah, there's only one me. I don't know how else to say this, but there's only one Rubina, and I hope you're ready.
Vainly, I could say that I'd be the one to watch this summer because I like how I look, and I hope other people do too. Non-conceitedly, I would also say, though, that I think I'm a good person to watch because I am nice. I'm going to say I'm funny. I think I'm hilarious. And 3, I think I'm going to give a good game. I think I'm really going to be fun to watch and strategize, and I think people will probably see some unexpected things from me.
I will be the one to watch this summer because you can't be in a conversation with me, you can't be in a room with me and not be entertained. Even if I don't say anything, my face, oh baby, it's gonna say it all. So you'll see me in competitions, entertaining. You'll see me in conversation with other people, entertaining. You will see me in this diary room talking to you about these people, pure entertainment. Get your popcorn, get your candy, get your juice, get whatever you have, and get ready to be entertained by Chelsea.
I'm the person to watch because I'm going to keep you entertained every single time. You want to come back for this smile. So that's why I'm going to keep you entertained in the challenges. I'm going to keep you entertained in the social aspect. And maybe I might do a little backstabbing maybe here and there. But stay tuned and you'll see.
Who are you on the lookout for in the house?
Some players that I'm definitely looking out for, I'm looking out for parents because I think parents really know how to manipulate people because they got to learn how to talk to their kids and get them to do what they want to do. So anybody that's a parent, I would love to get into an alliance with her. Anybody that works with a lot of children because they know how to mold minds. So those are the 2 people that I'm really looking forward to getting into an alliance with if they're in the house. I got this strategy from watching other seasons and then also just walking through life. Like I understand just socially and psychologically just how parents have to talk and how to speak to people to get them to do what they want to do, especially their kids. So I know, especially in this house, you're gonna have to be able to pull some puppet strings to get people to do what they want to do. So I think parents and people who work with kids are perfect at that. So I would think that's a perfect alliance for me, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, there's some people that I would definitely keep my eye out on. Somebody that's just moving a lot of snaky, that's just saying one thing and then doing another thing or just giving everybody what they want. Just telling people what they want to hear and every time they talk to somebody, those are the people that you got to look out for the most because then you never really know their true motive, so they might snake you in the end. So those are the people that I'm looking out for the most.
Yeah, on the positive note, I am looking for people whose vibe matches my vibe. Obviously, not on the same energetic scale, but like as a person. And I'm a big energy reader, so I will know when I know. I'm really looking for the vibes. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for people who seem like they're being nice, but really are talking about you behind your back. And I have a pretty good nose for it.
I think the type of people that I'd be on the lookout for when going into the house are just going to be the type of people I don't get along with naturally. I think having someone in the house who's constantly saying your name or constantly talking crap about you is never good. So I'm just going to go off vibes and see who I get along with and who I don't. Coming into the house, the type of people I would want to work with would be somebody like a Cody Calafiore type, like Matt from last season. Just somebody who's athletic and super agreeable and is not going to do anything stupid or out of control, who I can bond with, and who is also going to be maybe in social groups that I wouldn't be in myself, and try to leech off that as much as I can. If there's any poker players in the house and I know about it, because I don't plan on really talking about poker, if it comes up, I'll be honest about it. But if there's any poker players in the house, they got to get out of here.
I want to work with someone who's different than me, right? So I bring what I can to the table and they're going to bring something different. So even though I might be friends with someone with a similar like-minded mentality, they might not be the best game player, right? So what I am looking for is someone that has something that they can add to my table, right? I love a good table. So I'm excited to see who that is, right? And I'm excited to see what they can add to my plate. The people that try to convince you to trust them are the people that I'm not going to trust, because trust is earned and not convinced of, right? So those are the people that I'm going to watch out for. I'm also going to I'm going to look for like the subtle particularities. Is that a word? The particularities that might be overlooked. So I'm going to watch who celebrates with who hugs who, what are the nonverbal cues that people are giving or not giving that shows that they might be working together, and it might be, to the untrained eye, people would never know, but to Lisa's trained eye, I see everything. That's going to be what I'm going to be looking for.
I am so excited to work with a showmance. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy, but hear me out, okay? I've been with my husband for like forever, and I feel like I am the matchmaker of all of my friend group, so I can't wait to get into the house and find the two lovebirds, put them together, and be their little third wheel for a while. Use them as a shield, make everyone go after them, and then once they're out, then I can play the game how I want to, but that'll be my strategy, is find the showmance. I'm on the lookout for people in the house that match my energy, have the same vibe as me, but not for what you think. I want to target them. I don't want to work with them. I want to be the only social butterfly in the house. I want to be the only person that people come and tell their secrets to. So if you're too kind, too social, and you're too strong that way, you gotta go.
Going into the house, I'm going to look for people that are kind of like me, maybe a little older, and try and get that bond with them. Maybe another parent, if someone has some kids, that might be somebody that I want to connect with. But I also want to go and make connections with just about everybody. If somebody's quiet and sitting off to the side, I'm going to be that person that's going to go up and try and strike up a conversation. And then if you have those aggressive players, those type A personalities, I'm going to go and pump up their ego and try and make them feel a little better about themselves if they really even need that. So I'm going to try and work with just about everybody, but the close ones, I got to try and go with someone like closer to my age, and maybe we can get a couple of younger people on either side of us and take us to the end. My targets in the house would most definitely be people that are taking things way too personal. I know the Big Brother house is what it is. You have to go in there not taking things personal, and there's been a lot of contestants in past that have taken things personal. When I see things getting personal in the house, those are the people that I would like to target to get out, because I don't want people taking things to another level and being angry with people over a game that we all signed up to play.
I'm definitely kind of go with the flow in terms of I have no idea who else is going to be in this house with me. If I had my options, I would love to, maybe make a squad of misfits, us, kind of nerdy, awkward, quirky type of people. Would love that, ideally. But, again, I'll align with whoever I need to.
I am definitely on the lookout for anybody who is like a Big Brother super fan. Like, I'm a fan of the show. Like, I love the show, but there's people who've got Bibles and like mathematic equations that are like, if you win the first HOH, the probability of you getting to the final four is this much larger than negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus. And I'm like, yo, what are we doing? Like, I'm very like person oriented. I'm looking at people and I'm like, yo, what's your name? Where are you from? And so to think like this person could do this, and they're super analytical, using math and equations and craziness to continue to advance in how they're gonna play. Those are the people I'm definitely gonna be on the lookout for.
Is there something you plan on keeping secret from the rest of the house?
Yes, so Taylor is a pageant queen too, but that's something that the house is not going to know about me. The house will not know that I'm a former Mrs. America or that I teach women how to be the best versions of themselves as a pageant coach, because I feel like that's an entirely huge target on my back, that I teach people how to talk their way into winning. Like, that's literally what I do for a living. So they will only know the corporate side of Brooklyn and the mama side of me. So that's enough. That's enough sides for them to know.
Is there anything you won't do in the Big Brother house?
One thing that I won't do in the Big Brother house is act maliciously. I think that there's a way to play the game, and you can be campy and you can be adversarial, but at no point am I going to try to intentionally hurt someone's feelings and then not apologize for that if I accidentally do cross that line. I want to keep it clean, but I want to make sure that we're all having a good time too.
I definitely don't want to try slop out. Organic girl, that is not the vibe. Unless it's like avocado toast or like a burrito and that's your version of slop. So would rather not, but we'll see about that. Always open to trying new things. I mean, I love a good dress up, so I'm not opposed to the fun costumes.
In your opinion, what's the most iconic part of the Big Brother house?
Yeah, this is so funny. Well, I think the most iconic thing is like the snack storage room where people low key go in there to release their emotions and get hyped. I could see myself going there also for snacks, but also to like relieve myself of the emotions I'm feeling. Yeah, I think what's iconic in this Big Brother house that I wish I'm going to find myself a lot in is the HOH room. It is pure iconic. Are you kidding me? Bar the diary room. This is already iconic in and of itself, but that HOH room, I'm ready to reside in. I'm ready to see. I'm ready now.
One thing that makes the Big Brother house so iconic is probably the way that it's decorated. You will never live in another house that's decorated like that, probably ever again. I think one day when I have a house and I'm married and live in a house, my wife is not going to let me decorate it in the way that the Big Brother house is decorated. So I'm super pumped to live in the house the way that it is and the way that it's built out for the summer, 100%.
I think one of the most iconic things about the Big Brother house is is how many people trip up or down those stairs. Like, we've all seen it. And I really hope that's not gonna be me. But I forget that I have these two things on the end of my body sometimes. So, knock on wood. Who knows?
I would say what makes the Big Brother house so iconic is the players themselves, and probably Zingbot. Yeah. He's awesome.
Part of what makes the Big Brother house so iconic is not just its sheer size, but the fact that you know, deep down, you're sharing the same walls as legends before you. And so that's what makes it so iconic is it's familiar, but every season, it's been revamped and revitalized to match the current season.
One thing that's iconic to me is that big couch. Like, I just want to sit on the couch. Like, I think I'll check that off of my Big Brother bucket list. That's one thing that I think is super iconic to Big Brother, just in my mind. Being in this room and then the couch are like two of the things like that is non-challenge worthy, and meeting people. Those are the two things that I am kind of like checking off of my Big Brother bucket list, I would say.
The themes are really iconic about the Big Brother house. And so I'm really excited to see the theme for this one. We love a theme.
I mean, just for me, the iconic part of being in the Big Brother house is just all the history and lore and things that moments that I have relived through YouTube or whatever throughout the years. Just being able to like step in the kitchen and I don't know, just being in the house and knowing that I'm forever going to be part of Big Brother lore is like pretty iconic.
I'm super excited about getting my butt in that backyard, swinging on a hammock, putting my feet in the pool, hanging out, chilling with all the other house guests, getting to know them, having them get to know me. What better place to do it than in the backyard with the sun shining down on us? Maybe sipping a glass of lemonade or maybe a glass of wine if we're lucky.
The most iconic part of the Big Brother house is definitely the HOH room. Every season it kind of changes, but every season there's always an HOH.
I think that the Big Brother house is iconic because there is nothing else like it, and you're being watched 24/7. I don't think that there's any other show where you're under such surveillance and you're being so watched. And also I like that they've kept it like it's the same house every season. I like that it's a house, but it's not a house at all, really. And I like that they've kept every season in the same house, so you kind of know the layout, but you don't know how the decoration is going to be. And I think I always look forward to the different seasons of the different themes of the house. So I think it's iconic because it's the cornerstone of what Big Brother is. If they changed the house, it would change the whole show.
What are your thoughts on Julie Chen Moonves?
Julie Chen Moonves' biggest catchphrase is, expect the unexpected. That's iconic with Big Brother, and that's how I'm going into the house, and I'm going to expect the unexpected. And Big Brother should expect the unexpected with me, Sweet Kenny K.
But some of my favorite Julieisms, but first, good night, house guests. Like whenever she gives a twist and then she's like, all right, well, good night. And she doesn't give them the full twist and they're all just like, Julie's just iconic. Her kind of robotic nature, nobody else can do it like she does.
Yeah, I am definitely a fan of Big Brother. This is definitely a full circle moment for me. My mom actually came over to the United States in 1992 when she married my dad from the Philippines, and she actually used to watch the Big Brother in the early days to watch Julie Chen as a fellow Asian to help her learn her English. So this is crazy full circle. Definitely a lot of history with my family when it comes to Big Brother, so I'm definitely a fan, and I'm so stoked to be playing. Yeah, so I mean, my mom would tell me about that because my mom's been watching Julie ever since she worked in news. And so I know, when my mom found out I was going to be in Big Brother, she was equally just as excited, and she's holding up the key, we might meet Julie Chen. She's super stoked. So definitely have been fans of the show for a long time. I'm so pumped to play. Absolutely, I have my favorite Juliaism, 100%. It's when she ends every show, camera pans, and she turns and says, "Love one another."
My favorite Julieism is love one another. Stay with us. I am so excited to meet Julie Chen Moonves because I don't know if she can handle all this, but I'm ready to give it all to her. What makes Julie perfect host is I think she's just super unbiased. I feel like she really does want people to love one another. That's something I plan to bring into the house, and I think she really has just the best intentions for everyone, even though she keeps us in the dark about everything and gets a thrill out of having us expect the unexpected. I think she's great.
I'm very excited to meet Julie. I think that she's the perfect host because she's what it means to be a strong woman. I love her style. I love that she's so beautiful. I love that she's just such a strong personality, and even during the competitions, she'll be like, all right, I need my answer. She's not afraid to say what she needs or what she wants. And I also like her notes of positivity and how she makes all of the house guests feel so comfortable. I feel like she's the perfect host because she's just a very strong, independent woman, and she's the best.
I can't wait to see Julie Chen Moonves. You know, everyone's telling her how amazing she looks all the time. I can't be another one to the list. You know, every episode, every time I see her, Julie, you look amazing, phenomenal, stunning. We got to mix it up. I'm going to run out of adjectives, but we'll get there.
Julie's "but first" is so iconic. I'm so excited to meet her on finale night. You know, give her a hug, invite her out to the parties after I've won, that sort of thing. I did want to sprinkle in there, her best season is All-Star seasons. She's just so comfortable and like excited. You can just really feel it through the screen. And so I'm hoping that we're able to get tapped in with that Julie as well this season.
Yeah, okay. My favorite Julieism is, but first. I love when Julie says that. Like, come on, Julie, but first what? Tell me now.
Oh, she's just so iconic. She's got an iconic voice. Like, anytime you turn on Big Brother, you know Julie Chen's voice at the drop of a hat. Her style's awesome. And I just love everything she stands for. She's just such a good human being. I really hope I'm on her podcast. Yes, I can't wait to meet her. Hopefully at the very end.
How would you rate your competition skills?
Oh, definitely. You know, I think we need, for competition wins, I think we're going to give myself like a solid 2 or 3. I can't be out here stunting, winning everything. I can't be like, oh, he's pretty, he's smart, and he's a comp beast. Like, that's just my ticket home. I don't want to go home. So I think, you know, we'll stay casual with the wins, but we're definitely going to sleep in my own bed at some point this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my outlook on competitions has got to be that I got to fall somewhere in the middle. There's not a single competition that I probably am ever going to feel like I couldn't actually win. I feel like I've got a good chance at winning a lot of competitions, but I can't go out and win as many as maybe I'd like to. So knowing for my overall game, I'm going to need to fall back somewhere in the middle. I'm probably not going to come out super hot with the first HOH. If I have the opportunity to win and it's right there, I might go and grab it. But for the first couple of weeks, I'm going to try to stay right in the middle, lay a little bit low as much as possible, knowing that I'm a loudmouth and a really big personality.
How does it feel getting to talk in the diary room?
OMG, I'm on Big Brother. I am so excited to be here and I'm ready to play. This is so exciting. Yes.
Yeah, knowing that I'm going to be in like the same kitchen as where Keisha had her birthday and everybody was yelling and screaming while trying to sing happy birthday to her. You know, going into the backyard and thinking about Jeff and Russell fighting each other about Technotronics. Just like so many little moments that I'm going to be like, why I get to be here? Like, this is so cool.
I still feel like that meme, like, what do I do with my hands kind of thing, where it's, I don't know, like, what time it is. I'm trying to remember what day it is right now. And if I'm really here, like, I usually have 3 kids by my side, 2 jobs, a husband. And I'm like, no one's asking me what's for dinner tonight. Like, that's weird. So weird. Being in the diary room is probably the coolest thing that I have experienced. This room is so iconic. So many legends have sat right here. Like, I can feel the energy inside of here, and it makes me like have goosies all over that I get to sit here. I get to do this. I have the privilege of being one of less than 300 people to do this, and it is truly, I would say I have no words, but I have a lot of words, and they're all really positive.
Watching Big Brother, I kind of could always imagine myself like in the diary room specifically. So it's so crazy that I'm here interacting with, you know, you guys, with the viewers. This is what I was looking forward to the most. So it's amazing that I made it and that we're here. It's kind of surreal. Surreal is the right word. It feels crazy. It's a hard feeling to describe. Definitely, it's not overwhelming, but joyful, I think, is the best word to put to it. It's cool to see that, like, all your effort that you put in, you know, means something.
I've watched this diary room for 10 plus years. What do you mean how does it feel to be in the diary room? It feels crazy. It feels surreal. Like I'm actually, is this real? Somebody pinch me. This is how it feels.
What are your feelings on having to backstab someone to get further in the game?
When it comes to backstabbing, I will be very picky about it because I'm not like normally a backstabber. I actually kind of don't really like that. But it's the game of Big Brother, so obviously not to my like, my ride or dies, not to my core group. Well, until I have to cut them loose and say aloha at the end.
Well, this is Big Brother, and as I've said, all morals are out the window. This is a game. And how would I be a backstabber? Well, I think that sometimes loose lips sink ships. And so I don't ever think I don't know if it'll come out of my mouth. I can never control it. But my hope is that I can, and that if I do have pertinent information that somebody needs to know, or I feel like it will further my game, then I think I would probably talk to somebody who does have an even bigger mouth, possibly. And I know that will spread things like wildfire. And I would probably suggestively tell that person in so many words by saying things like, do you think, and ask them questions till it leads to what the direction is I want them to know. And so therefore I don't have as much blood on my hands. And it becomes the person who I'm kind of suggestively talking to becomes kind of their idea, and then they can spread it. And so that way I don't have the target on my back.
I could see myself whipping out some backstab plays in the game for sure, but I also want to be as honest of a player as I can be. So if somebody asks me the right questions, I will do my best to answer it as honestly as I can. But if they aren't asking the right questions, then I'm not going to give you the right answers. So will I be whipping out some backstabbing plays? 100%. We got to play the game, and we're playing to win, baby. So I definitely think that's a possibility.
I'm trying to stick to my morals as much as I can, so backstabbing isn't at the top of the list. But if I have to, I think it'll just be on the fly.
I'm going to be the best backstabber because people aren't going to necessarily see it coming from me. I am, in my day-to-day life, a real sweetheart, a real honey bun. I'm kind to everyone. I lead my life with empathy and kindness. And I think in the Big Brother house, people are going to see that. They're going to feel a very disarming wave of comfort coming from me. And so that's going to really separate me from the other backstabbers because it won't even be seen from a mile away until I just snipe out of the bleachers and take out my fellow competition and allies.
I never say never, right? I there's not one thing I can say like I absolutely won't do. Like I think that depending on the situation, anything can be good. Other than maybe like not using the veto on yourself, I think depending on the situation, anything can be good. Like some people say no showmances completely, but a lot of people have won who were in showmances. So I'm not gonna really have a hard line on what I will or won't do. Do I see myself as being a backstabber? Absolutely. I'm going to stab so many backs, the front, the back, all of it. There's no friends in the Big Brother house. I'm going to do whatever it takes to step over people to get to the end.
You know, growing up, a wise man told me we reward loyalty with loyalty and disloyalty with distance. So if we made it to the end and you were loyal to me the whole time, I'm loyal to you. And I can never cross you, you know, knowing that we were the final two. Loyalty is deeply important, you know. And a lot of people kind of overlook that now.
You know, backstabbing, you know, it's not a nice word, but if I have to do something that requires a little bit of backstabbing, I gotta do what I gotta do to win $750,000.
I'm a pretty loyal person, and stabbing somebody in the back is not in my nature. I think I can do it, but I'm not going to want to do it. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be only necessary, but it's the Big Brother house, so I know I'm going to be pulling knives out of my back in the house also. So it's a balance that I'm going to have to try and come up with. But I'm usually a very loyal person in my life, and in the nature of the work that I do, I have to rely on my partners and the people that are around me. So trying to break away from that in the house is going to be a little difficult, especially if I get a connection with somebody. But if it comes down to the end, if they got to go, they got to go.
You know, my thoughts on backstabbing is this is a game. This is Big Brother. You have to do a little bit of backstabbing in this game to make it very far. So you got to play the long game. You can't do too much backstabbing too early, but at certain points, you're going to have to do a little dagger in somebody's back in order to make it to the end. So it's the name of the game, and somebody's going to try to do it to me, so I'm going to try to throw it right back at them.
I don't plan on being a backstabber, but ultimately I'm here to play a game, so I'm not going to try to overcommit myself to things, but everything that I'm doing in the house is with intention. So knowing that the intention is to win the game, I might have to do a few off the book things that I wouldn't conventionally do, but the ultimate goal is to win. So if I need to, unfortunately, manipulate or backstab people to protect myself when it counts, I might have to maneuver that. Again, that is not the person I am, but we're playing a game, so it depends what we're thrown into. I want to swim and I don't want to sink, so I'm going to do what I have to do.
Why will you win Big Brother?
Why I will win Big Brother is because I have everything it takes. I'm the youngest of two older brothers. I was born and raised in a loud, wild Italian family, and I've had a lot of different walks of life. My dad came out as gay. I've been bullied. I was the bully. I was an athlete, and my family, I was born and raised in a family that all we do is compete. I have two older brothers, but not only that, my mom's whole side of the family, they've had a card game that has been made up for over 100 years. We play every time we're together. So I've been around mental, physical, and emotional competition my entire life, and I love it. And I eat, sleep, and breathe it every day. And I literally know I will win this game for sure. I have everything it takes, and I'm very excited, and I just need to make it past a couple weeks, and I'm there, baby.
I will win Big Brother because I am going to use the skills that I have been embedded with throughout my life to meet this game. You know, I'm a sociologist at heart. That's what I have my degree in. And so I'm going to read people and I'm going to use that information to my advantage.
I'm going to win Big Brother because my why is bigger than anything in this house can stop me from. I'm here to rep for the Filipinos because everybody needs a Filipino in their life, and that person is going to be me.
I'm going to win Big Brother because I'm a combination of everything it takes. You know, competitively, I have the background supporting it. You know, I was a dual sport collegiate athlete. And then socially, I was voted most likely to brighten your day and won homecoming Duke in college. And then strategically, you know, I'm a real rat in a cage type of guy, so I'm ready to win.
Why am I going to win Big Brother? I think that I'm going to win Big Brother because I am the perfect balance of a physical competitor. I have a lot to bring to the table in what I can do physically, how I can compete in competitions, but also at the same time balance out in a social game. I think that when people think I'm just bronze and athleticism, that really what I might even bring to the table more than that is my ability to connect with people, to build trust really quickly with others, and build relationships really quick.
I think I'll win Big Brother just because I keep saying this, but I think I'm a triple threat. Socially, mentally, physically, I've kind of got all three.
I will win Big Brother because I am the best and I'm in it to win it.
I'm going to win Big Brother because 26 is my lucky number. I'm 26 years old. I even have a 26 tattoo right here, so it's my time to shine.
Okay. I will win Big Brother because I'm a big fan of this show and I'm a winner and I want that $750,000. Hello.
When it comes down to the end of the game, I am finally going to be a person who is older and wins this competition outright.
I'm going to win Big Brother because I feel like in each of the categories, strategic, social, physical, I'm good enough in all of them, but not super overbearing to where people will notice how good I am at any of those categories, and I'll be able to sneak up on them.
I'm gonna win Big Brother for a few reasons. Number one, I'm a super fan. But number two, I have a little mixture of a great social game, I believe, and I'm competitive. Put those two together, you got a winner, BB26.
Okay, sick. I'm gonna win Big Brother because my ability to adapt to any situation. You know, I'm a people person, and a lot of the game that people overlook is the social game. You know, if your alliance wants you out, you're gone. If you get backdoored, you're gone. But if you're likable and people mess with you, and it's all social, not to mention, you know, you gotta throw a little cop win in there when you need it. Sometimes you can't rely solely on the social. So I think I'm just the most well-rounded player in the house. I'm young, 21, still got that good energy to brighten everyone's day, and I think a lot of people are gonna mess with that. And my social game's gonna take me far, and then when I can't go any farther on my social game, that's when, you know, challenges and mental and physical challenge wins come in.
I'm gonna win Big Brother because I'm charismatic, I'm suave, and I can get along with everybody. Plus, I'm super competitive, so the competitions are gonna be mine. That's why I'm gonna win Big Brother.
I am going to be the next Big Brother winner because I am resilient, I am a little bit stubborn, and I don't do anything half-ass. So coming here, leaving my family for almost 100 days or more is enough fuel in the tank to get me all the way to the end. My strategy in the Big Brother house is definitely going to be to use my conversation as a secret weapon. I like to say I'm a girl's girl, but more than that, I'm a people's people. So getting to know people inside the game, but also outside of the game. I feel like when you mix in normal day-to-day life and learn about them, they will want to keep you because they want to keep a piece of something that's not in the house. And so I want to get to know them outside of the house and what they do on their day-to-day life and make it more than just the game. In all reality, I'm just using it against them.
Ooh, why will I win Big Brother? I'm going to win Big Brother because I am a people person. I am very intuitive to how people are acting, how they're thinking. I can read faces, so I'll always know when people are scheming. And if they're scheming behind my back, I'm going to be able to know that right away so that I can alter the course of what they're trying to do. So I'm very much a people person, and that is my social game, and that is how I'm going to win Big Brother.